important for people to know their rights regarding firearms.
In my experience, the reason I feel that people buy guns mainly for self-protection. I get a couple guys that come in here for sport, but most of it's for self-protection. Other than that, it's mostly a hobby for people. People get into guns, they think it's fun, it's enjoyable, it's something they see on TV and they want to experience themselves, they get into it. When they get into it, it becomes just a hobby. It becomes something they enjoy doing on the weekends and they get very into it. And then there's the other people that get into it for self-defense purposes. Both are very good reasons.
My experience, why do I find people purchase firearms? Most of the customers we get here are concerned with the safety. The economic situation in the last few years are concerning a lot of citizens. The amount of the rate of crime in Orlando area are concerning the people, and people are worried about what could happen to them, what could happen to their families.
The background checks that people have to go through, and they're pretty extensive. For one thing, I could say they will go through a national and international background check, depending if the person is a American citizen or a resident of the United States.
I think the background checks are good. I mean, from what I've seen today with the application, it seems like, you know, they're doing the checks that they need to do.
I think that our background check is amazing. If you've got a good enough reason to get around it, you get around it. Right now, the biggest thing I see is the ability to have private sale, to sell from individual to individual with no sort of background check, no paperwork, and I see that as an issue.
Maybe they need to be tightened up a little bit, checking on the mental state of the person.
Any additional laws that they may try to implement or try to bring into the system, those people who commit crimes are already committing the crimes and breaking the law.
So you can have your buddy purchase it who has a clean record, or you have somebody you know, a family member, someone that has a clean record. You can have them purchase a weapon for you, and then they can just pass it off to you. It's that easy.
Well, it's a basic right to protect yourself. Everybody should be allowed to protect themselves. I mean, the cops aren't always there. The government isn't always there. They're not walking with you down the street. There are times where you're going to need to do it yourself.
It's like, kind of like you have a house and you have things inside of it, and you have locks and security systems that you can put into place. We have that choice to purchase that security system. So we have a right to protect ourselves.
Feeling a little uneasy with the way things are going, so just want to make sure I can protect myself.
Well, I tell you, I got a daughter and a granddaughter, and I would do anything to protect my family, my loved ones, or whatever. I mean, I wouldn't want to harm anybody, but if somebody's going to harm my granddaughter, I'll do whatever it takes to defend them.
The only time you're able to actually use a firearm is when you are protecting yourself against a life-threatening situation that is imminent death or great bodily harm. So it's everybody's right and everybody's duty to be armed and well-trained. To give you guys a quick preview of safety, I would say number one, always keep your finger off the trigger whenever you're handling a firearm. Number two, if you're holding it, you always got to point it in a safe direction. Okay, what's a safe direction? You don't want to point it at anything that you don't intend to shoot. Number three, if you're not using the firearm, always keep the firearm unloaded with the ammunition on one side of your house and your firearm on the other if the gun is not in use for self-defense. The reason being is we don't want unauthorized people to come across a loaded gun, primarily kids. We don't want little kids to find a loaded gun.
As far as the federal government determining what laws are right and wrong, that's crazy. We have a constitution, and that's why we have a constitution, to guide the government. The government shouldn't be guiding the Constitution.
No, it was written to be a basic guideline for how we're supposed to run things. They're not supposed to change it.
As a former federal law enforcement officer and state law enforcement officer, I think it's everybody's responsibility to be able to protect themselves until law enforcement arrives. You may be looking about 15 to 30 minutes before you get any help to arrive.
With his 12-year-old sister when burglars try to break in.
That's when investigators say the boy grabbed his dad's assault rifle and started shooting, and he hit one of the men.
Rather than running, the homeowner shot the burglar.
Tonight, the frantic call from the wife of that Palm Beach Gardens teacher who shot and killed an armed intruder. Heath Miller has still not returned to the classroom. And as